Welcome back. My guest on this segment is Jerry McGlothlin. He is president of the Special Guests Incorporated, and and also worked with Heads Up Clean TV. I want to say, Jerry, right at the first, my producer and your agency makes me look real good. Thanks, man.
There's an old saying by Vidal Sassoon: if you don't look good, we don't look good.
Oh, thanks for what you do, because you help us get some great guests. I'm really fascinated with your idea here of videos returning America to a moral sanity. Tell us about your vision with this.
Well, it's twofold. One, it's what we want to do ourselves here as special guests and Clean TV, and what we've done for 27 years, booking guests on talk shows like yours to get out the message that the reality-impaired media doesn't seem to want to get out. And then the second part is teaching others how to do the same thing. Now, whether we book guests on talk shows, that might be a little harder for the average person, or whether we make videos for YouTube and things like that, either way we get the message out. So I wanted to explain how simple it is basically to do what we do when it comes to uploading videos on YouTube and the costs involved with that and so forth.
All right. Do you think we can impact? We can turn the moral tide in this country through this kind of communication?
I think the answer is yes. Richard Viguerie has written in a book about the only two sources that really turned the corner in the election for George Bush over Al Gore, and it's even more true today. He says it's the internet and talk radio. I mean, that's where truth is. That's where freedom is. That's where reality is. I mean, the other stuff is just impaired. It's not really a conservative versus liberal thing. It's a truth versus lie. Right. And I'm not saying conservatives have the truth in every area, but overall, we represent the truthful side. And liberals overall represent the other side, because their truth is relative. So our goal is to try to get out truth, not conservatism, but truth. You know, if it's true that Barack Obama has a birth certificate, that he should show it. If it's not true, we should be relentless and ask him to show it. The same thing with his college records. I mean, we got one video called Obama, False Hope, False Messiah that's got, I'm looking at here, 1.3 million views right now. We only uploaded it about 5 months ago. I could show somebody how to do that right there in their garage. In fact, I'm in my garage right now. In the background, you see all my storage boxes. And I've got a studio with all these spongy things on the garage wall here. Wow. Acoustical reasons.
Well, what kind of videos have you produced in addition to the one you just mentioned?
Well, let me just take a quick look here. I'll just do the recent ones.
All right.
There's one that it says Obama did not fall far from the tree. It says Obama all in a day's work. I recommend that wholeheartedly. We uploaded it 10 hours ago. We got 97 views in 10 hours. Usually what happens is they freeze the views for one day to make sure they're legitimate views. And then the second day it could go up to 10,000 or something like that. YouTube tends to do that. But in that one, by the way, it's available. All you have to do is put in Clean TV. You go to YouTube, and in the search box, you just put in Clean TV. That's CLEAN TV, no spaces or anything. Yeah. Clean TV. And in it, it basically explains that Obama has pretty much gone line by line with Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. There's a book that was dedicated to Lucifer, you know, Satan. Right. Says it right in the book. And he basically is following the game plan. We have 8 points in there, or 7 points, excuse me, that show line by line what he's doing, every single thing that's showcased in the book, pretty much to destroy a capitalist system and instill a totalitarian system. So we're warning the world, basically, in that video.
How are you funded? How do you do this?
I'm funded the same way that anybody watching or listening is funded. It costs $0 and 0 cents to do what we do. I kid you not. Let me give you an example.
All right.
Go to a button here on YouTube. It says upload. You click upload, and then you basically select from your nested files the file that you just made. Most laptops come in with a built-in camera, so it doesn't cost you anything. If worse comes to worse, you have to buy one. It's like $19 over at Best Buy or Tiger Direct or whatever. Okay, so then you take your videos, just the way we're talking right now. I could have clicked record, which I didn't. Let's pretend I clicked record to this thing. Then I would just click upload for that particular file name. And so it didn't cost a ton. It's just sweat equity, you know. And You don't really sweat much. I mean, it's pretty easy. It's a labor of love. You click upload and you do it. And you have something just like we got now. Now, if you want to do graphics and music synchronization, etc., I go through a place called iStockPhotos.com. They charge about $1.50 per graphic. Let's say that you do one with takes 5 graphics. So it costs you $7.50 for legal, copyrighted, owned graphics. And you could get free ones too, but I happen to like the quality of iStockPhoto.com. And boom, there you go. So that video costs you $7.50. If you want to have music, lots of free music, budding musicians want to get discovered. So we basically exposed Benghazi, Obama, Hillary Clinton, oversized government, just anything you can name that basically has to do with patriotism or being pro-America. I'm not pro this regime of Obama, but we are pro-American.
So where do you get your information, Jerry? I mean, who helps you with this research so you can put this data up?
Well, people like you help us. We get it from shows like yours or Rush Limbaugh or any other talk show host to bring up something. One good source we put an Alexa toolbar on all our browsers, alexa.com. That will give you, it takes 30 seconds to put it on your browser, and it basically will give you the top trending internet stories of the day. So I'm going to look right now on Alexa right here, and I'll tell you the top story is...
It's live TV, folks.
Yeah, well, let me go to it later then.
Okay. So
Alexa basically has whatever the biggest story of the day is. Sometimes it'll have cute cats jumping through hoops or whatever. A lot of times it'll have political ones as well. Right now, and drudgereport.com is another place we go to very frequently, DRUDGE report.com.
Right.
So a person can go to those sources, see what the hottest stories are, and that's typically what the television talk show people look at. And as much as I hate to admit it, they also look at New York Times. It's NYT.com. When we book guests on talk shows, I mean, Sean Hannity has indicated to me before he wants whatever is on the front page of the New York Times. So in that case, since it's so liberal, you basically do the story, but you just get rid of the liberal spin. Now, one thing I like to add, if people want to do this, you could go to Windows. You could basically get Windows Movie Maker. It's absolutely free, very intuitive, easy to learn, and that's all you need. And it gives you your dissolves, your frames, your blends, everything you need. Windows Movie Maker is the software. It's free. Or if you want to do what we upgraded to recently, we upgraded to Adobe Premiere Pro. That's for a PC environment. Or you use Final Cut Pro if you're on Mac.
Right.
And those take a little bit more of a learning curve.
Okay. And we've seen it here at the Dove TV. We've had, I think last month, if I remember right, on our own analytics, I think we had 42,000 views of our YouTube videos that we produced here using this show. Like this segment will probably get several 100 hits by the end of the day. Well,
sometimes they go viral without notice, without warning, without expecting them. I mean, all it takes is one person. Let me give you one good site. If you're going to make a video, first place to send it to is westernjournalism.com or WND.com. Either one of those, good for 1,000 hits right off the bat. 1,000 views immediately. If you were to upload this or actually send it to them and offer them to upload it, immediately expect 1,000 views. And there's other ones, like Drudge Report, for instance, they say submit a story to Drudge. You just keep sending them every day, every hour if you have to. If they put one in, you get 75,000 views within 2 days. So it's all relative to the site. Now, I don't like the Huffington Post. They're too liberal for me, but they're even bigger than Drudge. You could get 600,000 views within a week if they promote the daylights out of it and the liberals run it through their liberal propaganda factory or whatever they do to do whatever they do. They do it well. I got to admit it. With social media, if you don't have content, you have to, learn the delivery mechanisms.
Yeah. What so far has been your most successful video?
Well, actually, probably I'm not sure if it's the most successful. The most successful one that comes to mind is Barack Obama a Saudi plant? If you go to YouTube and just put in the word Saudi, Saudi, S-A-U-D-I, and then the word plant, P-L-A-N-T, you'll see a video that's got about 5 million views, and it basically hypothesizes that Saudi Arabia put up the money for Obama to run for office, and that he's not a real citizen, and that he promised that once he put his national health care system into position that he would do the bidding of the Saudis, but it got delayed, and we are yet to see if he's going to come through on the promise. It was an intercepted communique we got in Arabic language and had translated to English. So that one, between 4.5 and 5 million views so far. Now, if you combine them, ones like that, that's on a lot of websites too. It might have 8 or 9 million views because we allow other people to repost on their sites.
Wow, that's amazing. So it would appear to me that when you're having that kind of numbers, that the tide is turning, the information, the truth is getting out.
Well, let me tell you about the tide turning. I started bringing up this point, and you even made it better. You bolstered it more with that last comment. Thank you for that. We did one. I'll give you an example. We did one with Larry Pratt. Have you ever had him? Have we ever booked him on a show with Gun Owners of America, Larry Pratt?
No, I should get him.
Oh my goodness! I personally booked him on the last 20 years on 1,000 shows or whatever. But we recently booked him on 2 shows on Piers Morgan on CNN. One back, and then another one. He beat up Piers Morgan so bad because Piers Morgan says, "Larry Pratt, you are a very stupid man, aren't you?" And Larry looks, huh?
Yeah.
And just walloped him, but without raising his voice. I mean, I've got other people who raise their voice. And he just cleaned his plow, and it went viral. Do you know that shortly after that, now when I say this number, I'm not saying how many views he got. I'm saying how many different web pages actually put that video on their site. It was 200,000 websites. Now let's pretend each website only got 100 views on average. Wow. Some maybe got 200,000, some might have gotten 2, but let's say each one got 100 views. And 200,000, you multiply that by 100, and it's 20 million people that saw that. Almost anybody watching this right now, I bet you they've already seen that viral video of Piers Morgan duking it out over gun rights with Larry Pratt. And then Piers was, wise enough to put him on a second time after that. He thought he could beat him up the second time. Didn't happen then either.
Well, there seems to have an impact on all this, Jerry. I mean, you probably read the shop talk like I do, and I see where CNN made some changes, but they're not getting the increase in numbers. Now they're talking about a wholesale cleaning, and I say all that to say that apparently the left just can't seem to get traction in media because people know that it's not the truth.
Well, this may sound a little self-serving, but when Fox News had very, very low ratings and they were trying to be the big boy in the street, we provide them with a tremendous amount of the guests to help them rise to the top where they are today. We gave our guests mostly to Fox and withheld them oftentimes from the other networks. We represent people like Phyllis Schlafly for the last 20 years, booking her on shows from Eagle Forum, and Larry Pratt, and anything to do with the fighting abortion or pornography or big government, anything that champions personal responsibility, or Judeo-Christian ethic, etc. That's us, and that's what we dedicate ourselves to for many, many years.
Well, it's just wonderful. And by the way, I've enjoyed for many, many years having Phyllis on. In fact, I had the high honor of receiving one of her Eagle Awards years ago, and people like that are still in the fight, and it's just been amazing. Where do you see talk television going? One of the complaints that we're hearing is this stepping over of each other is getting old and people are tired of it. Where do you see that going?
My goodness, I'm glad you asked that question. That should have been the first question I answered for everybody. Excellent question. Everything that you see today should be gone in 3 years. Anything you see, including Fox News, every stinking thing you see on CNN, on Fox, everything else is going to go over to the internet. So this very show we're on today could very well be bigger than MSNBC. But let me clarify this. I have an inside source at MSNBC who was considering disclosing the number of their viewers, but they finally said, I cannot disclose both of our viewers. I booked a guest on MSNBC whose book on on Amazon.com was approximately 1,700. That means there was only 1,699 books higher than him in the whole world, either 10 million books or whatever on Amazon. Wow. And MSNBC interview. Do you know what? The next hour, every hour, 1 minute after the hour, you click refresh and you see the new numbers. The lower the numbers, the better. Number one would be the best. Guess what it went to from 1700? Guess what it went down to an hour after the interview?
I have no idea.
We measure it.
It
didn't go down. It went up. It went from 1700 to 1800, which means, in theory, that everybody returned their books. But it's impossible. They couldn't have returned them in at that time. But it just shows you it's virtually, the plus or minus error of 2% on political polls. I'm telling you right there, I saw they had no audience. They had a negative audience, technically speaking. And CNN is out of the news business. They just announced we're not in the news business anymore. We're other things, like History Channel type of stuff, whatever. So the last player standing is Fox. And let me tell you something. Change, one thing that Obama said is true, the word change. He promised change, he delivered change for the worst. But look at Blockbuster Video. They first came in there and they changed a whole dynamic thing. Everybody went to Blockbuster Video and they annihilated the mama and pop store. Just this last week, Blockbuster's closed the last store. Now it's on Netflix, okay? And just as Fox News is top of the heap right now, they're going to be gone in their current incarnation into something new. They'll either be gone or they'll be on the internet, or largely on the internet, maybe for nostalgic purposes. A few people still see on TV, but it's all going to either the internet or whatever the new incarnation will be that's even better than the internet. But it'll be the equivalent of online. I'm holding my phone in case it rings again. I don't know what this.
You're fascinating. I want to come down and have lunch with you.
I'll show you our studio and our garage.
All right. I'll pay, you pray. How's that? Thanks, Jerry, and thanks for the work you do. Let's stay in touch, my friend.
Thank you.
God bless. All right, we'll see you next time on Focus Today.